just a couple of minutes, 5 minutes. Okay, so I've prepared for this conference a demonstration of the REBOL 2 view engine and abilities of REBOL as a meta programming language. So we'll have a look at what REBOL 2 is really capable of. So this is the link for the demo. Let's start it. So the demo consists in two windows. One window on left, empty, and another window on right with a widget called area in the REBOL 2 view.
Oh, that's the area widget that I tried to clone in the area construct in
Yes.
the GTK binding.
So let's see what to do with that. So REBOL 2 view engine, so the GUI engine, provides a DSL for constructing GUIs very easily. In this demo, I wanted to push it a bit further and see what we can achieve in real time. So let's try to input some GUI description in this field and see what happens. So let's start with something very simple, like a button. So button, a button in VID, which is the name of the GUI dialect used by REBOL, we need to provide a string which represents the button text. So let's try something simple. Okay, so the button appears immediately on the other window, but it's quite small, so we'll try to make it bigger. Let's try to make it bold. Okay, it's still not big enough, so let's try to make it make the font bigger. Okay, still not very visible. Let's try a bit bigger. Okay, we can see the text clearly now, but the button is quite small, so let's try to make it a bit bigger. 100 pixel horizontally. Let's try to make it look a bit more consistent vertically also. Okay, that's nice. Let's see if it's working. Okay. What could we do now with this button? We could, for example, add an action. Let's make it print hello when clicking on it. I need to show the window, the log console behind. Oh, it works. Oh, it's really easy to make a GUI application in REBOL 2, as you can see. And which the nice thing is we can do it in real time. So let's add other things. For example, let's add a checkbox. Let's put a cross inside. Okay, shouldn't be more complicated than that. Let's try with a radio button, maybe a second radio button. Let's add a label instead in front of the checkbox. So we'll use the text keyword and we'll add something like, let's see. So it's not real nicely aligned, so let's make it aligned a bit more, a bit better. We'll ask the dialect to align it horizontally, but we want the radio button to be below and aligned vertically. Okay, Let's light on one of the radio button. Okay, everything working nice for now. The geek is not very readable, so make it bigger. Font size, let's make it 16 for example. Okay, that's a bit more readable. So we can see now how things can be built very easily with REBOL 2 view engine. Okay, let's move on. Let's add some field for editing. Let's add a label in front of it, so text, let's say name for example, and add another one, let's say city, with another field, but it doesn't look very nice, so let's align that a bit better. So let's make it aligned horizontally. Let's add a break in alignment here. Okay, that's already better, but we can do even better than that. Let's add a tabulation here and another one here. Okay, it's not bad. I will make the text a bit more readable by making it bold. Okay, still not good enough. I would like the two field labels to be aligned on the right side rather than on the left side. So let's try something like right. Okay, nothing happens. Let's add, okay, let's move in. Let's remove the tabulation and let's do the same for the other field. So I'm specifying 100 pixels for the field, for the text fields, for the text size, so you can have space for the right alignment. Okay, that's better. Let's add a button again, something very simple like a submit button, but not here. I want it below. So I'll just add a break in the alignment rules, but I want it there, so I will just tabulate until it gets to a nice position, which is this one. Also, let's make it bold and a bit bigger. So we'll just increase the font size to something like 18. Not bad. Just make the button a bit bigger, so we'll try something like that. Not enough. 90 maybe. Yeah, okay. So now let's change it 8th by making it 60 pixel. Oh, nicer. Now let's add an action to this button. For example, let's make it print something nice. Print hello. And now I want to be able to retrieve the input from this field and this field to construct a nice hello message. So let's add some name to the fields. So let's name this first field, we'll name it name, and the second field will name it city. So I can now access the data that is input. So name text / text, which is the standard way in REBOL to retrieve the text property of a field. Let's add something more to make the message meaningful, and we need city. Okay, this should work. Let's see. From Paris. Oh, we have an error. which is print is missing its value argument. Let's see what's the... I don't know what the error is.
Quite too much from and on city.
But we'll just restart the event loop so we can go back to our code without restarting the application. Not a problem. I have no clue what is wrong with
You
print.
have a double quote too much or too less.
Aha, right.
Ja, heel goed.
Okay. Where is my other window? Here. Okay, let's try it again. Oh, working. Great. And this one still working too. Nice. It even survived a crashing error. Cool, no? Okay. What can we do more than that? Well, maybe we can reduce the code size. So let's define a style. I'll just remove the log window to avoid too many messages. Let's define a new style. For example, I'm using text which are bold, aligned right, with 100 pixels width. So let's try to define a style that will avoid me to have to type this thing every time. So let's call it T bold or text bold. And let's copy the definition. So bold, right, and 100. Not sure about the syntax, but we'll see that immediately. Bold. Now let's remove the rest. Still working. Cool. Let's replace this one too. Okay, now the code looks a bit better, and the nice thing about the style is that we can now change all the widgets property from one position instead of several. For example, let's change the font using the much nicer fixed sys font in Windows. So now the text looks really ugly because I should remove the bold value. Okay, now it's much nicer. Well, what can we do more than that? Well, let's try, for example, now to add a new skin. 10 years ago, when the first version of REBOL VID was released, the default look and feel was really horrible, I must say, really ugly. So at that time, almost 10 years ago, I wrote a Windows 95 skin for REBOL VID. And the nice thing is it's still working. So let's try to reskin this GUI form in live. So this is done by the styles keyword followed by the skin name. Oh, works. If I don't want it, I can remove it or I can put it back. It's all live and still working. If I take the log window, which one is that? This one. Okay. If I don't want the style anymore, the skin, I can remove it like that by putting a semicolon which acts as a comment marker in REBOL. Okay, what can we do more than that? Well, we can add a background, for example, backdrop. We'll add a background and we can take a background from the images directory folder. I don't remember, was it a PNG? It's not a PNG, maybe a JPEG. It's supposed to be a JPEG. Okay, cool, working. If I don't want the background, I can just remove it or put it back. Okay, what can I do more than that? Well, maybe I could, instead of using an image here for the background, I could maybe use an URL for pointing directly to an online resource. So let's try to find a nice image online. What to search? Let's search for a red lady. Let's find the original red woman from the Matrix movie, which is this one. Okay, let's go for this one. I'll just copy the link and paste it here. Not sure this is the right one, but we'll try it anyway. I just need to remove that part. Not just maybe clean up the URL directly. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's the right URL. Let's put it back there.
Oh, zie je dat?
Okay.
Dan zijn ze weg.
Seems it's missing
Kan ik die meenemen?
something. Okay. I forgot to add a space here. Nice. Directly downloading the resource image from the net. Okay, what can I do more than that? Well, maybe instead of redirecting the result of the GUI specification here inside this other window from the same process, let's try to, for example, send this description in live through TCP IP on another computer. I don't have another computer right now, but I have a virtual machine with a Linux running on the same machine. So let's try to see if we can make this run directly using a client application. Okay, I have now a same window. Let's try to see if I update something here. Will it work? Not for now. Let's put... Okay. Aha, okay, yes. It can't work because I need to change the code to send this wall specification through TCP, and my demonstration doesn't do that by default. So let's add the code for that. Oh, by the way, the whole live coding of the GUI is 30 lines of code in REBOL view. Just that. So I've prepared a single line to send the GUI description through TCP to my virtual machine. So let's enable it by removing the command and restart it. So I'll just...
I need to save it, I think.
Yes, I'll just save this in the clipboard so I can reuse it.
But It's also the program code.
What?
It is still starred.
Aha, you're right. Need to. Let's restart it. It's here. Okay. Let's see with the virtual machine if it's still working. Okay. Let's see if what happens now if I input something. Oh, it appears in both places. Let's make it bold. Make it bigger. Okay, cool. Just one line of code and we can remotely create a GUI on a different operating system running in a virtual machine. Seems like a nice feature to me. Let's just increase the size of the button text so we can. Okay, so it's working here and working here. Maybe we can just test if this works with code too. That will be nice. So if I print hello, not working here. And I broke the program, so I'll just relaunch the event loop. Maybe fix it like that and retry my. Okay, I've just missed something. Okay, just hidden. Okay, so it's working here. Let's see in the virtual machine what's happening. Let's move it here. Okay, cool, working also. So we just demoed in one line of code how to remotely copy over the network GUI description in live and show also how to make programming code mobile, so you can just travel through TCP and be run and doing exactly the same thing on another operating system, on a remote machine. That's cool, and I think it's the end of the demo. Okay, that's all. Maybe just I still have in the clipboard. I still have the clipboard, the code from the more complex GUI. Let's see if it works. If I passed it, great. And it should work here too. Okay, cool, working. So this little demo of 30 lines of code.
Just a moment. The REBOL experts in Alpme are asking if you implemented a new VID to enable real-time network communications.
Absolutely not. It's there's no library except my Windows 95 skin here, and it's all standard Vue code and Vue system. It just uses a single little trick, which is here, which is a dynamic reconstruction of the content of this viewport.
Right.
So if I input something, and if I change it, update it, I'm losing the content of the field because the whole GUI is reconstructed dynamically. Of course, if we add a few more lines to the program, we can save the states of the fields and add them back.
You've now reached the level where the REBOL experts across the world don't believe it anymore.
And the nice thing about that is that I just thought about doing this demo a couple of days ago while watching similar live updating GUIs with live code on YouTube, which are becoming quite popular these days. And I thought to myself that we can do that in REBOL VID since 10 years, but nobody thought about doing it.
Yeah. This is exactly what the red system dialect can't do yet, because it looks like a dialect, but it's actually nested function calls, so you can't send them over the network. So that's what we're waiting for to have in red.
Exactly, and with red we should be able to do exactly the same demonstration, but with a much better GUI toolkit. So instead of view, we'll use different targets and different underlying engines that should enable us to do much better and much faster GUIs. That's all.
Okay, very cool.